I have like my brain will remember things in a certain way, and I've recently been reflecting on my wedding day, um, and just how like, and you were there, so like just how emotional I was. And I'm not an emotional guy. Like I'm not very vocal. Like I am, but I'm not.
Right.
Unless you really know me. But I remember feeling this like intense feeling of like it would. And everyone asked me afterwards, like, how does it feel? I didn't feel that different in the sense of my relationship because
Right.
me and Laura have been great for a long time, and I loved her before, I loved her after. But I remember feeling this overwhelming feeling of like joy, and I can't explain it, and I don't know why. And my cousin jinxed me, by the way. My cousin Monica, I don't know if you remember meeting her. She's actually backpacking right now in Europe somewhere.
Oh, wow.
I was so glad I got to catch up with some family members that I hadn't seen in a long time. I was so glad to see her. I was so glad to see a bunch of other family and relatives. And she kept telling me, she kind of jinxed me a little bit. But we were talking beforehand, and she asked me, she's like, "Are you going to cry?" And I said, "No." Like, and I was like, I didn't even think about it. I said, "No, like probably not." And then I started like being like, all right, like maybe, like I'm open to it, but like probably not. Like I feel like I'm so ready for this that I can't see a situation where that happens. But I promise you, like, and I did it with like a smirk. Sure, like if I feel it, I'll go for it. And she ended up telling me like, I just love it when guys like, especially like masculine men like show their like emotions, and I'm like, all right, well, like enjoy that.
Yeah,
like you'll probably get
good
that
thing
one
you're
day.
not masculine enough.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm a little bitch. Like I pretty much told her like we talked about it for a while, and I was like, no, probably not, but like sure, like I just like want to go with how I feel. And I think she's jinxing me, man, because I remember like that day, and I'll walk you through it. I remember that day waking up, and me and Laura stayed in separate rooms. So we're at a resort in Cancun, and we stayed in separate rooms. And for whatever reason, something happened with the booking, and the resort people were calling my room, and I didn't want to answer because I was trying to sleep in because we're going on an outing with my family. We specifically were going to go snorkeling, and we're going to take a yacht just so I can get away from the whole resort. That way I don't run into Laura.
Right.
So I wanted to sleep in and then get up with exactly enough time to go shower and then meet them at the dock so we can go on this excursion. But the phone kept going off, and it was the resort people, and I answered it pretty much to tell them, stop calling me, man. And they were like, hey, man, hey, man, like that's how they talk. They were like, you need to get out of that room by 12 or by 11. And it was like 9 in the morning at this point. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, well, we have you in a different room. And I was like, no, my wife's in that room. They're like, well, we need you out of this room because we rebooked that room for someone else. And they just like miscommunication. I was like, well, I can't just go to that room, the other room that's in my name, because my wife's in there and I'm not supposed to see her till the wedding, which is tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, yeah, like figure it out.
I don't know what to tell you.
and my family's texting me like, we're here at the dock. They're going to board us. Are you coming? And I just told them, go without me. Like I'm not making it. And I literally packed my stuff up in the room, put it in my suitcase, and I just went out to the pool, and I just didn't have a room. And I remember thinking, everyone's on this goddamn excursion. I didn't know where everyone was at. And then I ran into some people that I recognized, and then Raymond was there, and Chris Alvarez, and I ran into Lloyd later. And we ended up just putting my stuff in that room, and so I stayed there. So bad start to the day, but I'm already like, all right, I'm getting married tonight, man.
Right.
And I remember feeling that vibe. And I remember we had some fun there at the pool, and then we go back to his room that I now put my stuff in, and I'm getting my tux on. And I think that was the moment where I realized like God, like I'm about to marry this girl, you know? And I remember thinking like how amazing it was going to be. And I started reflecting, and I kind of disassociated with the moment because we had some shots, and there's music playing, and everyone's ironing their outfits, and everyone's kind of talking about stuff. And I walked out, I had my drink in my hand, and I walked out to the patio, and I just stared into the beautiful place where we're at. That resort was beautiful in Cancun. And I just thought like, wow, like this is what a crazy moment. Like I'm about to marry my best friend, and I'm about to like embark on this whole new journey. And it was the first time it really hit me.
Right.
And I remember thinking like, all right, like this is, keep it together, Will. Like this is her day. This isn't yours. Right. This is ours.
Right.
And we're good. We took pictures. We had a photographer come, and I felt good. I remember feeling like this is good. I watched a bunch of movies where the guy freaks out. Good. I remember thinking about what my cousin Monica said. I'm like, I'm good. Felt great. And then they came and they they told us we're going to go there. We go to the venue. Of course, Laura's not there yet. And I'm talking to everyone, and all the guests come out here. That's where you guys all went out to the seats.
Right.
Everyone line up here. Laura still wasn't there because she's the last one to get there. I'm not supposed to see her. I haven't seen her at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember freaking out a bit. I remember like it all hit me when I was at the front of the line and I was by myself. And I was standing there and I was looking out at the ocean. And I was looking out at the people, and I turned around and I looked at the party group that was with us, and I just felt this overwhelming feeling of like, are you the man you think you are? Not of regret, not of fear, not of anything. And it was just like a moment of like, are you the man you think you are? Are you the man that she thinks you are? Can you live up to these things that you've been living up to this point? But like, is this where you are?
Right.
And I was freaking out. My hands shook, and I didn't know how to tell people about it. And I'll never forget it. My mom walked in because she was with Laura. They were getting ready upstairs, and she walked up and she came up to me and she said, "How are you doing?" I said, "Good." Like putting on this front, and she caught on so quick, like to the fact that I wasn't doing that great.
Yeah.
And she grabbed my arm the way a mom does, just around the bicep, and she was like, "Hey, just so you know," and she started telling me some stories about her wedding and just checking in on me. And I just remember this swirly feeling of being lightheaded, slowly going away. And I was like, wow, like, I don't know what's going on, but keep talking to me. Like, this is working. And she was so great. And I told her since then, and I don't know if I fully expressed that to her, but she was just like, "You're going to be great. I'm so proud of you." I could see the love in her eyes. It just made everything okay. And I felt calm. And I was like, you know what? Like, this is going to be okay. And they do the music. We walk out in a line. I'm the first one up there. I get to watch all the groomsmen come out and do their dances and stuff on the floor, and everyone's lining up. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm good. My mom sits down, and everyone's lined up. And then it was the song for the bride. And I remember thinking, we had picked these songs, so I knew the song would come on,
right?
But it just hit. And then I was like, oh my God. Again, like the same feeling of like swirliness.
Yeah.
And she walked out, man. And oh my God, man, I will never forget the way I felt, because when she walked out, I lost my already very small breasts. Like I lost it. And I remember thinking like, what the fuck? Like what, like, how are you feeling this right now? Like we went to this a million times, Will. I'm having that inner dialogue, and she looked so beautiful. The song was just hitting, and I started, like, I cried. And thank God most of the people were looking at her.
Yeah.
Like, because everyone looks at the bride. And
I looked at you.
I remember, and I talked to a bunch of people afterwards, like, I was watching you. But I remember looking at her, and then, like, I remember, like, just losing it. Like, oh my God, I was so overwhelmed. And I remember thinking, like, are they all looking at her? You have a moment. Like, I didn't even, like, just stop crying. And, like, it was so emotional for me because I remember everything, all of our 9 years together, all in this moment. And then she walks in looking beautiful. She's just as freaked out as I am, and we're up there at the podium. And I do my vows first, which I thought that I wrote great vows, and I spent a lot of time on them.
You know, and they were great, but then there she comes.
Yeah, well, and they were short, sweet, and very real. And then she had a book, and then I held the book. And her vows were so great. And I remember getting emotional again.
Dude,
like
I wanted to cry with you.
And what saved me, not what saved me, but like I remember like looking away to cry real quick. And I actually saw someone, and I won't put his name out there just in case. I looked out and I saw him crying. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not the only dude crying right now.
Yeah.
And then I looked, it was so hard to lock in on anyone, but I locked onto him, and I saw that. And I remember thinking like, oh my God. And I looked over at my cousin, the one who I told, like, probably not. And like, she was just like,
she's all bawling.
She had to look on her. I don't know if she was crying. She probably was, but it wasn't even that. That's not even what I noticed.
Yeah.
She just had this I felt it. Like, I fucking knew you were going to cry. Like, it was one of those moments. And like, I looked at her, like, I don't think she'll remember that, like, either, because she was so sucked into the vows. But I looked over, and she had for sure watery eyes. And then I just remember thinking like, God, she got me. Like, she jinxed me, because I swore to her I would, and then I did. And then we did the vows and the wedding was great. And wow, what an adventure that was.
That wedding was beautiful. The whole experience was great.
Yeah.
Just getting to know some more of your family members, your friends, like just getting along with everybody. Even the wedding day, it was a great weekend. It was just, I mean, everything was just perfect to the end. I had such a great time. I haven't had so much fun in such a long time. Just being there, especially with open bar,
That helps out.
that helps out a lot. I mean, I danced so much, I drank so much, I was laughing so much. But that wedding day, man, outside of that naked girl at the front,
that's one of the greatest parts. There was for the people listening or even watching, there was before anyone had come out, there was like these private gazebos.
Yeah.
But we happened to have our wedding in the middle of them, and so there was like a private pool on the balcony of some of the rooms.
Yep.
And some lady was just topless out there.
Yep.
And
passed out.
Severely sunburned, by the way.
Passed out.
And then her husband came out and threw a blanket on her and then dragged her into like the patio. And then they both were so drunk they passed out. And that's where they were the whole wedding.
Yep.
But yeah, like at one point everyone's like, dude, there's like some topless lady at your wedding.
Yeah.
I'm like, what a great story.
But just that scenery, your vows, hers, the whole thing. So I'm not like legally married. I call Jerry my wife because we've been together forever. We've been engaged forever. But that made us realize like this is what we want. Because we never knew like, do we want to do the wedding in Puerto Rico? Do we want to do it here?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, man, like we got to do whoever shows up.
That's exactly what we did.
It is what he did. So I think that helped us make the decision like we're gonna do this in Puerto Rico.
I'm so excited to be at your wedding. I don't even care if I'm like part of the wedding, like if I have any input ever. I don't care. Like just to be there to see you guys like have that moment. Like I'm totally in for that, man.
Yeah.
And I don't say that about a lot of people. Like and hopefully no one else as my friend takes offense to this. There's some people where I'm like maybe one day, but I'm super like excited about that, man. I hope that you invite me.
Oh, you most definitely will be invited. And